Hello Ruby, or anybody else who might be watching this tutorial. Yeah, it's a tutorial, or a showcase rather. Jedi here, showcasing you my settings for Battlefield 4 on the console. I'm going to be showing you off what I use and explaining why I use this, okay? In order to make your aim more precise and your movement around the map more fluid. I use a high sensitivity for my hipfire position and for my vehicle gameplay, so I can turn around corners and I can turn my vehicles with a little bit more ease, thus not being a sluggish movement like the standard settings have. Oh yes, and have in mind Ruby, this is the 15th time that I'm trying to record this. I think I managed to make my computer stop to blue screen of death on me, so if I paired this commentary with another gameplay or another thing, just bear with me, okay? Controller vibrations is activated and my soldier controller configuration is set to veteran. Why is it set to veteran? Is it because I played Battlefield before and I do use this configuration since Bad Company 2? Yeah, that too. But it also solves another issue of when you press right stick as if you are controlling your recoil, you don't knife. You only crouch, and that is not a bad thing at all. You only, dip into cover. The worst thing that can happen is the element that is shooting you back shoot you in the head, but this is just if he is good at aim, and let's not dwell into it. Analog stick configuration is set to the regular. All of the other things, either veteran or pattern, or the default, the default, for it makes no difference in infantry. And this is something else that I wanted to show you off, since I use a very high hipfire sensitivity. It really makes my aiming down sight to fire a little bit inaccurate and makes me overshoot or undershoot my opponents in case I am aiming and shooting them at a distance. And it also makes my recoil control a little bit bad because, when you aim down sights, you don't want to do a complete turn or do a 360 just from scratching your analog stick. This is why I have the uniform zoom sensitivity set to off and my zoom sensitivity set to 70%. These settings are the ones that I use. You have to kind of mess around with them until you find the ones that are the best. These are the ones that I use because I like to flick shot people a lot and follow them around corners while I am ADS'd, and this helps a lot. Those are my settings, of course, but those are the settings that are going to change how you see the battlefield or how you interpret things on the battlefield. More advanced tutorials, of course, if you want, but I'm sure you can search them around and sort of adapt things that PC players do into console. That's the thing that I do the most. So let's see. These are the scale down sensitivities already from the regular sensitivity that you have. This is a submenu that actually just drops down if you go to the advanced options. It is directly influenced by this setting here, the scale down zoom sensitivity, and those are the ones that I use because I already scaled it down. Medium distance and augmented at short and iron sighted, that are the ones that you use with ACOG scopes, 3.4 times scopes, iron sights, or your regular Cobra sight or your regular sight, are the ones that I leave the way they are because controlling recoil is an issue, and if I don't get used to those to those settings, nothing will be worth it, I must guess. So medium distance, that are the ACOG 3 to 4 times scope. The description is right down here. So the only one that I use different than the default is the long and extreme long distance, scaled further down for me being able to track down my targets without overpassing them. In case I think you already noticed it. It's for the 8 to 6 to 8 times, and then this the 14 to 40 times scopes only used in sniper rifles. This is why I use a scaled down sensitivity when I adopt a more defensive playstyle. Okay, let's go into gameplay. My weapon zoom I have as press, stable, press. This is all the default. Aim assist, I like to turn it off every once in a while if I'm playing with a different weapon and I have to get used to it more. But if I am doing the regular stuff for a warm-up round, I like to leave it on. This is another topic. I just use it every once in a while. You can leave it off if you want. This way you have more confidence when you're using your sticks. But if you want a better target acquisition, then for sure use aim assist. But don't spam it, because that will be a little bit scrubbish. This I have to hide the reload and tips systems. They kind of mess around with me because I already know these things, so I don't want to see them every time I hop in a vehicle or not. My battle log on game is set off, and the unlock messages are set to off. Only those two I set to yes, because I like to join friends and I really like to know what am I playing. So if I join a friend, so this actually makes a lot of difference. But of course, if you want everything to go straight the way it is, this is not going to affect your gameplay by that much, except for these things here. I have squad order set to unactivated, to deactivated, because when I'm squad leader, I like to set the right objectives and not set objectives just because I'm spamming the spot button like this. It gets really annoying if you are not a squad leader. You get issued orders all the time and it makes absolutely no sense. All of this is deactivated, that is the default. Except for the jet camera, but this is something that I don't use that much. I don't hop in jets that much. Network smoothing factor is in the default 50%. This is something that you actually have to be redirected to a guy called Chris. His channel is Battle Nonsense. Just YouTube him and you understand these in-depth mechanics a little bit better. That is the network smoothing factor. I find at 50 to 60%, depending on the server that I am in, and the connection that I am having at the moment is the best. I set the high frequency update always to on because my network is a little bit stable, so I guess I can use it, and it doesn't make me get shot around corners that often. Okay, so dwelling into the HUD, I use these settings because I think I need to see more of the game, less of the HUD at times. I'll just scroll them down. If you want a HUD that looks like mine, it will be shown later. Copy these settings, feel free to pause the video and use them, of course. The minimap scale is at 100 meters because I am an infantry focused player. I like to play a lot of Domination or Operation Locker, you know, these infantry focused maps, and play as an infantry in general. 100 meters for me is one of the best settings because I can see almost the entirety of a Domination map in my minimap, and this way I can plan the way I go around the map better, avoid direct conflicts and all these things. So 100 meters is a very sweet number that I like to set it up. So decide to activate it. Let me see another thing that actually makes a big difference. I don't think there is. Oh yes, the defensive spec shield that is shown right. I'm pointing at the screen because why not? The defensive spec that is shown when you spot somebody, I like to set it to on. This way, if I'm using the recon kit, I know if I have to put an extra bullet in this guy at close to medium ranges or pistol whip him. So I set it to on. I like to see if somebody's using the defensive spec or not, like many new players use, because it's the default. So these are my settings. Let's go to the audio settings. I like to use the War Tapes settings because it makes me a little bit more accurate while I'm listening to who's shooting and what's shooting. If it's an enemy, if there's an enemy call out, I really like to listen to these things, and I set it to 60%, because if I go much higher, I'm probably gonna get deaf, and that is not going to be beneficial. Okay, oh by the way, my HUD is set to 40% because then I can see things through it a little bit. The HUD visibility. It's of course always set to stereo. This is your personal preference, totally your personal preference. But I like to use War Tapes for IDing who's shooting what in hardcore. For example, somebody's shooting an AK that is suppressed. You have absolutely a mean to discover where he's firing using these settings that I'm using. Okay, that's it. I'm pretty sure that's just it. Oh, I have the shorty. Okay. I'm not X Factor, so I can't, just jump around and deal somebody in the head. But I'm guessing I'm gonna stick to these targets. As you can see, I can switch targets a little bit easier. I can move around more swiftly. And because of my high sensitivity, I can, turn corners faster, and I can turn around faster. That's pretty much it. If I want to go up a stairwell, I can check the stairwell before I turn it, over here, and I kind of aim above it. So that's pretty much it. I hope messing around with these settings helps you, Ruby, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. See ya.